You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yes, man. Ladies and gentlemen, today is another kind of day. Today we talk about passion. We talk about journey. We talk about upcoming. We talk about experience. But ultimately, we talk about qualification. In studio today, we've got two amazing guests, passionate about the upliftment of this amazing industry called plumbing, but more than anything, who have a story to tell about their amazing journey. But before we get into it, you know how we do it right here. I go by the name of Rendani Chibura, aka Rendi, your number one MC. Yes, man. And welcome to another exciting and brand new episode of Next Gen Plumbing. Gentlemen, this is where we usually go, this is where you clap your hands, actually. Yeah. It is cold, but we keep things heated up right here in studio. So, ladies and gentlemen, I won't waste any time. As I told you, we've got extraordinary, amazing guests in studio. And our first guest, I'll start with the next generation, yeah? Then we talk about the experience. Our first guest, ladies and gentlemen, he's currently going through his ARPL process, which is, of course, your artisanal recognition of prior learning process. And he's about to get his qualification in the plumbing industry. It's the one, the only, Muhumad Kadar. Did I say it right?
Yes, correct.
Come on. Welcome to Next Gen Plumbing, Muhammad.
Thanks very much.
And he's not alone. He's not alone. We talked about upcoming, and then we also talk about experience. We talk about veterans, yeah? Someone who's been there, who knows what this industry is about, and also recently just got his qualification. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Mr. Vernon Elliott. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
There we go. Gentlemen, welcome to Next Generation Plumbing. This amazing show is simply showcasing how amazing this industry through engaging people like yourselves. So I don't want to waste any time. I know it's cold, but we gotta heat things up here. Yeah. I'm glad that they're smiling. We actually started the conversation prior to this moment, but today is all about showcasing your journey. And I know you guys have different backgrounds and you guys, have a lot of experience, but I think people need to know who you are. So I think, Vernon, let's start with you. Mohammed, you don't mind that, right? No. Let's talk to the veteran. Yeah. I know earlier I said Vernon is 51. He's like, no. I'm 50. I'm only turning 51 in October. Vernon, you've been working in different industries, including plumbing. And you've got so much experience and you finally got your formal qualification. Just give us a brief background about your journey and how you got to this position.
I started plumbing when I was in Nelspruit, and from there it just did a whole lot of years, 18 years of plumbing.
Wow.
And never really, had the thing to just go and get qualified.
Yeah.
But it was always, in the back of my mind, let's do something. Let's go and get qualified.
Yeah.
And then eventually when I got to Pretoria, I thought, this is a stepping stone. I have to get qualified.
Yeah.
And it really pushed me in that direction. And it gave me that kind of, satisfaction.
Yeah.
That I'm now qualified.
Fulfillment.
Yeah. To the max. Yeah. And then a step closer to where one should be is obviously to become a licensed plumber.
Yes.
Which is, I think that's the top. That's the apex.
You've got those bragging rights. You know how they used to do it. LAPD. Now you're licensed plumber. Yeah. But when you started, what actually brought you into plumbing? I think that's so important to know. Most people, there's so many career options, What got you into the option of getting into the industry that transports the most valuable commodity?
It was something, it was something that tickled me and said, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I've always liked construction and looked at plumbing and, helping around the house where there's a plumbing issue, but not really knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I met up with a plumber in Nelspruit and we got chatting and this is where we are.
And the journey began.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Since you did mention that, obviously it was a journey and it started somewhere. But how has it been? I'm talking to someone who's been doing plumbing at an ad hoc basis, non-licensed, And I'm sure there's been challenges, I want people to know that, this is not just cream and strawberries. There's a lot that goes into this.
Yes,
You gotta be passionate. You can't come to this industry just for money. How's that journey been?
It has been, in some cases, very, very much uncertain, because you don't know what to expect. You don't know the bylaws. You don't know, all the SANS laws and stuff.
Yes.
And it's important. These things are important. It's governed, for a reason, for safety, for all these other factors that are included in this. And it's just...
It's been one of a ride.
It has been a ride, because now you install a geyser, and insurance companies, they want a COC.
Yes.
Now you can't render that COC because you're not qualified.
Yes.
You're not licensed.
Yes.
You're not. You haven't got that badge, as you say. So it becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
And you get to people's houses and they ask you, "Are you qualified?"
Yeah.
And you got to now tell them, in a roundabout way I am, but you're not really qualified.
I've got the experience.
Yeah,
that's the word that we always balance it out with.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I love that. And speaking of, I know you mentioned a bit of construction. I want to jump into you, Muhammad. We have to talk about this. I mean, you're young, you're upcoming, you have a lot of experience when it comes to construction and the built environment. But I wanna. When did you choose that? You want to focus on plumbing specifically, and let's talk a bit about your journey as well.
Okay, so before this year, I was speaking to Mr. Willem, so I'll tell you exactly what I told him, right?
Yeah.
Basically, earlier in my youth, I was in Namibia, and what they have there, basically, when it's school holidays, so we were basically on the border of, we were in Oshikati,
okay,
very close to the Angolan border. So during school holidays there, they would have these workshops where they had construction, they had railway works, they had agricultural, they had a few of they had agricultural railways, they had a whole of the plumbing and electrical workshops as well. So then basically what used to happen is that the students now, instead of going and having all these parties and things that they're not knowing what to do with their life, they have, hey, you know what, I got this education, or you know what, in my life I think I want to do some sort of electrical or plumbing, or you got the railway works, or you got agricultural knowledge. Then I think in about 2006, 2007, around there somewhere, we started renovating our house back at home. It was quite a huge renovation, and then I just fell in love with the construction. And then I think, the plumbing guys were also very good to me there. So then I was drawn to the plumbing.
In general, the plumbers are good guys and good ladies. I mean,
So then I got drawn into it. And then from about 2018 or so, I started doing plumbing, and now I'm working towards my qualification, and we'll see from there how it goes,
Let's be honest, right? You love plumbing more than construction, yeah?
Yeah, no, plumbing is...
You didn't just say that. we didn't just lock him down, man.
Look, construction also, there's a lot to it in construction as well.
Yeah.
But, also the customers are always right. There's 100%. A lot of problems that can go wrong on that, Yeah. And then... when you have the experience more so in one certain field, like with us, okay, you got construction, but now also when you going towards the plumbing field, then customers, they always look out to you. Hey, can we do like this? Can this happen like this here? This is what we did the last time.
Yes.
A certain construction. If we do it like this here, is it above? Like you say, like the bylaws and the sense, because certain houses that we went to, so your stormwater drain, it's not supposed to go into your sewage system. It's not supposed to go into your drainage.
So not at all.
So it's not at all. So this is something that you learn over time also. And also it's in the bylaws and SANS laws as well.
Yeah.
And then you go to few houses where the stormwater drain is hitting directly into the 110 sewage pipe. And now it's over flooding that pipe. And now you must know you're not only causing harm to yourself, but all the other houses,
the entire system,
it's going to over flood that whole thing.
Yeah.
So now, if you don't know all of those things there, then you're gonna mess it up.
Yeah, and it doesn't just affect you. I see you want to say something else. You can add on to it, please.
It's also, people don't realize that there's a lot of sand in the gutters.
Yes,
because obviously the downwash from the roof.
Yeah.
Now you have accumulation of sand that's in your pipes.
Goodness.
And that sand does not wash away because of its weight.
Yes. And so it sinks
and
down
that's just,
as the water's flowing.
And it just, and it builds up. And this is why, this is just a logical way of thinking. That,
Yeah.
you know, the sand is just going to pile up, but people think that everything's just going to
Just
disappear.
gonna wash.
Yeah.
And that's why your fall's also got to be correct.
That's true. That's
Um,
true.
Yeah, these are the things that you learn.
You know, I hope the viewers back at home are watching this, you know, because we're putting in a little bit of technical knowledge here, you know. Even I myself know about these things. But jumping into it, all right, I think it's important what Vernon touched on. You also touched on something. Vernon has already jumped into his qualification. You on that journey. But now, what made you decide that I actually want to do this formally instead of operating on a unlicensed or unqualified basis? Because it's just knowledge, right? What made you say, I'm actually taking this route and I want to do it? Yeah.
So basically, without your formal qualification, there's a lot of jobs that you miss out on that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Mr. Vernon said also, you know, like with insurance, high-rise buildings, complexes,
Yeah.
depending on who, especially with insurance, they want a registered plumber or a licensed plumber who can also issue COCs. Because you must know certain people, when they pay for certain work to be done in plumbing work, the money that they pay, they want quality work for that.
That's true.
Now, if you don't give that quality work, then you're putting a bad name to everyone in
You're
the field.
compromising the quality.
So now, if you missing out on all of these things, and now you're like a little bit older, and then you're like, hey, you know what? I could have had this job. I could have had that job. And there's no jobs coming because you're not licensed.
Yeah.
Now, when you're licensed or you're registered and things like that, there's more opportunities, more doors that open up for you.
It opens up the pathway of growth
Yes.
as well. Vernon, I want to touch back to yourself, all right? You did your trade test, you know, formerly known as a Red Seal, right?
Yeah.
Where did you do your trade test? And I mean, what was the process that you went through, you know, when you were going through this? I want to touch on what kind of things did you get tested on? You know, I'm sure there are things that you mentioned already, your SANS, your standards, your regulations. Just give us a bit of background around that.
Okay, to start off, you know, there's a whole lot of forms that you got to fill in.
The admin,
you know,
is a lot.
It's a lot of admin, and they require 3 years, you know, plumbing, you know, practical. They require also that you give them a list of things that you've completed. And this must obviously also be verified via reference from your plumbers or whoever that you worked for, your journeyman. And then you get into it, and then they actually recommend that you do a week sort of training to do all these things, because there's a lot of the stuff that, like your cones, your chimney flashing, that you don't do. I mean, that sheet metal work, those are in that happened years
I can
ago.
see Muhammad is laughing. Yeah, he can resonate with it.
Yeah, and also, you know, your caulking, but we've never done caulking ever. But I mean, that was with the cast iron pipes and the ceramics that they used to use. And fortunately, we didn't do that. But you know, you got to do copper bending. That we never did either.
Yeah.
In the 18 years that I've been doing plumbing, I've never bent copper. The only copper bending was you would heat the pipe up and then bend it gradually. But there's no real, you know, bending as such as you would see in, you know, old-time plumbers, where there was no flexi connectors. So they had to basically bend that pipe up to the basin, from the wall to the basin. And then, all those different things. Experiences on, as I said, you know, the cones. It's a huge process. You got to do drawings, and it's quite a complex drawing, and you got to, you know, get everything right, and it has to be 100%.
It has to.
And then you got to lay that. You got to cut it out, and you got to put it onto your sheet metal, and then you got to cut it out, and you got to bring it all together. And it's quite a complex thing. But we don't do that flashing anymore. People don't do it, but they've just brought it into the syllabus, you know, that I suppose that's just what it is.
Vernon, what is the one part that you'd say you found most challenging throughout that trade test, or perhaps most memorable, where you're like, you know what, this part, I hope I passed this one, you know? What was that part where you're like, oh?
I think it was the cone.
The cone.
The cone was quite an issue. Not really an issue, but it was something that, you know, it was new to me. So it was quite an experience to do that, to learn how to do it, and to try and memorize all that stuff that you got to, you know, it's all these measurements that you got to put in place, and you haven't. It's one measurement away, and the whole thing is gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, the drain laying was quite a thing, because I mean now you're getting these pipes that you got to lay, but there's no, like in the real world, you've got all these. These the rubber seals and stuff. There's no rubber seals. There's no soft soap. There's nothing. It's just these loose fittings, and now you got to take sand and you got to push them in there just to get these things up.
Oh my goodness!
That they water level and get everything 100% to spec. And once you've done that, they take photos of everything. You stand next to it. They take photos and they say, right, this is going to CETA, which is now the governing body of qualified plumbers or of any industry, I think.
Yeah. And I can see Muhammad is probably like, oh, I'm still gonna do this, because he's currently doing his ARPL. But I want to give him that feeling you got once they said you passed.
Yeah.
How did you feel when they
I'll tell you what,
you passed now, you've got it?
Yeah, it's an
was this the smile you probably took out?
It's an ecstatic. Yeah, you have a smile from ear to ear. If you didn't have yours, right on. So
but it was a sense of relief.
It was definitely a sense of relief, and a sense of compatibility. You've got it. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
Muhammad, now you know what you're going to go through, right? Yeah. But let's touch into where you are currently now. You're doing your ARPL, all right? And what organization are you doing your ARPL through?
So I'm through IOPSA at the AITF college in Kempton Park.
Okay. And I mean, let's talk about the kind of process you're going on. The journey, the skills you're learning. What are you getting tested on? How does the ARPL, work for someone who's in that journey, who wants to be part of this? Give us a bit of some light in that regard.
Okay, so exactly like Mr. Vernon said, they require a minimum of about 3 years practical, right? Once you get into it, they want to vet you. They want to see what you know, what don't you know, and things like that. And then when you come there, once you get into the program, and when you come there, there's like tests and things like that that you have to write. But now those tests that you write sometimes can be it's not all the same for everybody, right? So say if you know mostly your sewage systems, your geysers and your gutters, for example, it might come out in there, and there might be other things that you don't know inside the test, right?
Yes.
Just to basically see where your knowledge is at, on a theory point now. Because now the practical, we know that you can't do that because that's what your work says, but now the theory we just want to see.
Yes.
So then after that, once they take in those papers and once you write all your tests and things like that, then I'll put you in like a workshop. So the workshop, I'm sure it's a little bit similar to how Mr. Vernon is. They have like a whole lot of cubicles with toilets, showers, push-through geysers, normal geysers, underground sewage system, then on above ground sewage systems. And then they'll put you in those cubicles and they'll tell you, you got an hour. Then they'll give you like a map, it will just be like inside the cubicle. And they don't explain anything to you. Measurements is there. They'll give you a toolbox. Inside there is all your tools and things like that. And they'll give you the equipment that you need to install the toilet or the geyser or the underground sewage system. Here's the map. You have 1 hour.
Come on.
And then, so that's what they do. And then after an hour, then the assessor or auditor or whatever will come and see like, you said that you know this work. Let's see now. Then they'll assess it and things like that. And then from there, then they'll work forward on what knowledge you do have and what knowledge you don't have. And they'll also add on some things for you. Like I was explaining about the whole dumpy level story, back in the days, you use a spirit level and a fish line to measure your sewage system from the manhole coming up. Now you got the dumpy level where it makes life so much easier.
It's like the advanced technology makes things,
And then so you'll have the dumpy level. So instead of going through at your spirit level and working your way up and things, now you got all your measurements, you just do your calculations and then know your slope and things like that. So you learn a lot of things, like also that copper bending. There's also that cone that you learn. And then from there, they'll test out your knowledge and they'll give you like a lot of assessments to do. Those assessments now, you have to pass it or you fail it. If you fail it, that means you're not ready to write your trade test.
Yes.
So once all your assessments and that are passed, then they send all your work to IOPSA and CETA and things like that, and then they wait for you to get your trade test date. Then you come back for like either a week or 3 weeks, depending on you now, how many weeks you want before your trade test. And then you go forward and write your test,
I can see you on this journey. And, I love the fact that we're talking about the pre and the post. because we have to educate our viewers back at home.
Yes.
There's a whole lot, let's be honest. In South Africa, there's a whole lot of people who identify themselves as plumbers.
Yeah.
But there's a select few who are actually qualified and professional plumbers. And I always say this, I can say that I can drive a car. But at the end of the day, I still need to go do my driver's license. You know, just because I know how to drive doesn't mean I have been verified to drive. And I mean, apart from driving, we are transporting water, which is life. This is an industry that without it, society can't survive. So it's good to see the journey coming up and someone who's seasoned, and cooked and who's got that experience. But I want to bring in this topic, the value. All right. Both from an ARPL perspective, as well as someone who's got that qualification. Let's talk about the value, right? What does it mean to have that knowledge, that experience, that badge of honor? And I think, Vernon, you can touch on it as well. And Muhammad, we're going to touch on it also from the skills and knowledge that you're getting. What does it mean? What value does it bring to you?
I think it brings you to the fact that you realize that this is important.
Yeah.
This is where you have to be.
Yeah.
And you gotta teach the young.
Yeah.
You gotta set an example for the young to come up and do what you've done.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's diminishing is tradesmen.
Yeah.
On a broad spectrum, people are not. They want to rather go for IT or they want to go for whatever, and this is fundamental stuff that we need.
Basic.
It's basic stuff that, electricity, water, building. Without that stuff, there's nothing.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Tradesmen, I think that's the key point.
We're the heartbeat of society.
Yeah.
And that's why people need to look at us in the glamorous way. I always say, imagine if plumbers decided to strike just for a day. What would happen? Hospitals, farms, no one can survive without us. But still, speaking of value, I mean, let's talk about from your side, from your angle. I'm sure it brings in a sense of trustworthiness. If I'm sick, I'm going to go to a doctor, not someone who calls themselves a doctor, but a qualified doctor that's been tested by the medical board, that the work that they're doing is safe. Same applies to plumbing. Give us maybe a bit of a background around the value from your angle, because, I mean, you started at a position where you just got into plumbing, and then now you're learning a whole lot more. What is it bringing? What's that insight adding into your life?
So look, it doesn't hurt to learn, you know what I'm saying? To get whatever knowledge you can get, because you must know there's certain times where you go to certain places and like things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Now, if you have this knowledge, you have this value, you went through this whole learnership and things like that, you can tell the customer, listen, my job is to fix up this thing here, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just overlooking on this side here and I'm seeing that this work is not right, The guy who obviously did that work never had that knowledge, so to speak. So you having that knowledge, it brings like a lot of greatness towards yourself also, because now it's like you can fix up other people's problems, but also you help, and like Mr. Vernon said, you teach the young, basically, because there's a lot of people like also when like now with this whole ARPL process, there's a lot of older people that are getting their qualifications, but not a lot of younger people that are getting their qualifications. And basically, like you say, it's like a trade that people need. Yeah. Because you must know, people were looking down at plumbers before.
Because of the incorrect perceptions.
Yes.
Yeah. People didn't know how amazing this industry is.
Yes, it's very true. And now everyone needs a plumber, because let's see, your water, that's a basic necessity, a basic human. Like everybody needs water.
Yes.
Now, you just knowing how to go from point A to point B, just to give the guy a tap there with running water is so much. Yeah. So that's why, like, these people need to get their their license or get registered and things like that, because it holds a lot of value. And then also, like I say, if you don't have it, there's a lot of jobs also that you miss out on.
Yes.
And I was saying, like, with IOPSA, on licensed registered plumbers, they averaging on a monthly, just depending now, they get about 7,000 calls.
Sure.
Just an average, looking for a licensed registered plumber, because you must know, if you're not licensed and you're not registered, your prices may be cheaper, But then you put in a bad name into the plumbing field also. And then when a licensed plumber has to come and fix up your mess, it's like just more work. And then then a customer also has to spend more money into buying more materials for you to, like toilets or copper and things are all messed up. Then the customer has to rebuy all of those things again for you to fix up.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Yeah.
I must say, I'm quite inspired by this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And I think it's such an important one. I really hope the people who are watching back at home really get to understand that there is a clear distinction when we speak about qualification. Qualification sets up the word professionalism, taking nothing away from experience. Let's speak to the plumbers who have been working and operating without a qualification. Most of them get exploited. There's a whole lot of things they don't get exposed to, information, continuous professional development, and you are in the process of, you could have taken that journey and continued, or you could have taken this journey of wearing your badge of honor. And I think you've touched on the value that it brings, but I want to get more insight before we wrap this amazing conversation up, because I'm getting cooked up, man. I might just do this thing, yeah? I might just do my ARPL. I might just get my trade test like Vernon. But let's talk about the value that, a formal qualification brings to the industry at large, all right? And it's important. I always say you can't separate everything. Everything is systematically connected. You can't punch with a finger. You put all fingers together, it creates that force. What value does it bring to have a formal qualification for the industry? Yes, it brings a value for yourself as an individual or your entity as a company, credibility. But how much impact does it actually impact the perception around plumbing and how people are going to change how they view plumbers?
Yeah, I see, the people, as Muhammad said, they look down on us plumbers, and I think, but
until their toilets are blocked.
Yes. Until a toilet is blocked, until they have a burst pipe, or something like that. Then they say we need a plumber, and it's, it's this. So we can add credit to that. And it's something that we have to look at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you really feel good knowing that, hey, I'm professional. I'm professional. There's something that separates me from a plumber and a qualified licensed plumber. There's bragging rights as well. Let's talk about the value contributions from an industry perspective.
So once you registered and you obtain like a red seal and things like that, you also get national recognition.
Come on.
Like basically national, if you go like abroad or something. Like, I know like one of the places, I'm not sure if it's New Zealand as well, but I know with Canada as well, if you have your red seal, you can go straight into.
So you can open many doors.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then also you get like your, like if I can say like your local here around South Africa, you get that recognition also where if you're working for someone and now he's also qualified and you qualified and the rest of your fellow workers are also, maybe they qualified or maybe not qualified, you will have more, I don't want to say like respect, but they'll just treat you a little bit better. They pay more attention to you.
That's true.
And then also there's the thing where once you registered, right? And there's a lot of benefits that you can do where you build up on yourself. So basically now you got this certain amount of knowledge. Now you don't know about heat pumps. You don't know, say for example, like sprinkler system, and you don't know about gutters, and you don't know about solar geysers, for example. Now with this red seal, with this qualification, if you go to certain organizations and then you are with them, you can actually get the training and get the experience and learning. So then you basically build up on yourself. It's not just like, oh, I got the red seal, now I'm just, now you go and you build on yourself, and there's more knowledge that you basically work on yourself.
You took the words out of my mouth. Apart from the title, but it also promotes quality of work. Excellent quality of work within society. And that's what we need, because that's the game changer of how people end up viewing plumbers. If the work is quality and it's professional, they start seeing that, these guys are soldiers that transport water. They're doing a lot. And that's why I think from our side, it's such an important thing to honor you on your journey. I always say this, you could have literally just done it informally, gotten away with more cheaper work, done whatever it is. But you decided that you want to empower yourself and add great value into this industry. So we have to give you your flowers. But before we wrap things up, and this one is important, I want you to talk to the people back at home. Words of encouragement. Let's talk to that plumber who's been doing it for years, who's frustrated, he's not getting the big projects, and he doesn't have the COC, he always has to go negotiate with his friend, What words of encouragement would you want to leave that person with?
I think one has to go and do it. Just like Nike says.
Come on.
Just do it.
Just tick it, yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Get it behind your back, because now you'll always be in this bracket of uncertainty. You don't know where to go. You don't know the rules. You don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And there are some really jacked up guys out there that know all the rules and everything, but he's still not qualified.
Qualified.
At the end of the day, you need that signature on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
To say, right, I've got it. But then it's obviously not just, as Muhammad says, you don't just stop there. It's a learning curve. You carry on learning as learners, because there's obviously going to be updates. There are new products that are coming in on the market.
Yes.
You gotta sharpen up on all these things. It's like that with any industry. Look for aviation, for example. How many airplanes there are, and there's now all these different screens and all these different things that you got. It's just the guys carry on learning. It's never ending. Try and learn as much, because whilst you're just going to stagnate and you're just going to go back. So one has to also just go onto the PRB website and the IOPSA website and go and have a look, and go and look at all these updates, and go and look at the videos. It's just worth it. It's gaining knowledge. Because knowledge, no one can ever steal that stuff away from you.
Once it's in, it's
never.
in.
Once it's in there, this is the way one has to, operate in this, or in any industry for that matter.
So just do it.
That's it.
That's the key word. Muhammad, words of encouragement? Are you going to give us the 3 stripes?
Because, there's a lot of things that you'll miss out on that you don't know. Only once you obtain your certification or something, then you say, I missed out on this, I missed out on this. Now when you have it, like, you build up on yourself, you're with the right organizations, there's more to it, there's knowledge that you can get. So just dive right in. Don't be scared, because I know there's a lot of people that are scared for, I think maybe they're scared that the trade test is quite difficult, but once you're there, you'll see that it's not so difficult. It's just, in your mind. But even if you were to fail, it's still not bad. I mean, just go try again and you'll pass it.
You'll get it right.
It's just that dive right in. Don't be scared. Just, like you say, just do it.
Just do it.
Because there's a lot of perks, a lot of benefits once you are registered, once you are qualified, once you are licensed also, also with issuing COCs, not running around, because there's fly-by-nights and there's people that are, just buying a COC, but the work is not up to standard, So now here, it's your thing on the line, you can get audited on the thing, it's your thing. And there's also on the PERB's website, I'm sure maybe other, you might say that there's that thing where you show the before and after pictures, to show that this wasn't up to standard and I fixed it and now it's up to standard, Now, there's all of those perks that you can get.
Come on. Yeah. I love it. Just do it. Guys, just do it. That's it. There's no time to waste. Just do it. Gentlemen, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for such an informative conversation. I really hope the people watching this episode really find the value of this discussion, because what you are doing now is what's helping us grow as an industry. So from our side, we want to give you your roses while you can still smell them. And we salute you for taking the professional route. And to all our viewers back at home, thank you once again for tuning in to the most awesome and epic show ever, the Next Gen Plumbing. I still go by the name of Rendani Chibuda, but before anything, I want you to go onto our website, www.pirp.co.za, and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or it's X now. You have to be updated, Vernon. Hey, Muhammad, you must know it's X now, all right? At PIRPSA. Make sure you tune in. Until next time, I always say, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Yes, man. Just do it.